need to create a module, and then we need to import the module into another module. Okay, right. So what you need to do is like you will be generating random 100 characters. Okay, so we will be generating random 100 characters. So say I'm having 100 characters, and the characters are like H, J, and then A, and then B. So like this. Okay, so then W, and then E, and all this, P, and so on. So like this, so we need to generate 100 characters, and inside the module, what we need to do is generating these 100 characters need to be written in a module. I already told you the name of the module is random character module, and then what you need to do is you need to import it in another application, and inside that application what you have to do is for example, how many A's are there. So you just need to give the count of how many A's are there, and then how many B's are there, and how many C's are there. Okay, so like this. So here the problem statement says that you need to create a list which is count list, and inside this count list you will be having the count of characters like 2 comma then 3 and 4 and 5 and all this. So it means that the count will be having 26 elements in it. The first element will represent the count of how many A's have occurred, and the next number will represent how many B's have occurred and all this. So this is the problem statement. I hope everybody understood the problem statement.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so first what we'll do is we'll try to write a module which will actually generate the 100 lowercase characters. So for that, I'm using PyCharm. Is my module. So I'll be naming this module. So what is the name of the module, Andy? According to the problem statement, it means that random character module. Okay, so this is the random character module. So I'm saying random character.py. So this is what I have created a module now. And inside this module, I'll be writing the code to generate 100 random lowercase characters. So for that, I need to import the module which is called as a string, because I need to use the attributes inside the string to generate the lowercase letters. So that's why I have imported it. I also will be needing the module which is random. These are very important placement questions, Andy. So this will help you a lot, like how I'm solving the problems. Please do make an observation because this learning will definitely help you in future. So the first thing is I'm importing string. Why I'm importing string is because I need certain attributes from the string which will actually generate the lowercase letters, and then random will actually choose the random letters. Okay, right. So then I'm writing the function. So the name of the function is, so I'm saying def, and the name of the function need to be get random lowercase letter. So this is the name of the module. Okay, fine. And name of the function, and inside this function I'm saying v is equal to so now I'm using an attribute which is there in the string module, which is called as ASCII. Okay, ASCII underscore letters. Okay, and which will actually give me all the letters in the ASCII character set. Dot ASCII letters. ASCII letters is an attribute, so there won't be any parentheses after that. So then I just want the lowercase letters, so I'm using the method which is called as lower over here, and after that I am creating a list which is called as chars. So this chars is an empty list, and inside we need to put all the randomly generated letters from V into it. Okay, fine. So I said for I in range, So what is the range? So we need 100 letters. So that's why I'm saying 0, 100. Okay, fine. So which will be 100 minus 1 means that 0 to 99, which is like 100 characters. So here I need to append it to the cats list. So I'm using the append method, which is there in the list, which is a list operation. And inside this, I am saying I don't want the characters in sequence, right? I just want the characters in random. So I'm using the random module, and inside the random module, I'm having a method which is called as choice. This choice will pick the letters in random from the list. Okay, fine. So that's what we are doing, and I'm passing V into it. So this will actually pick from V. It will take all the letters, and then these letters in random, it will choose 100 from this particular V. Okay, fine. So this is what has happened here. And finally, after generating 100 characters into chars list, now you need to return the chars list. So I'm saying return chars. Okay, so this is what we have done here in this particular module. This is my module, which is random character, and inside the random character, I have imported two modules, which is string and random, and this is the method function that I have written, which is get random lowercase letter. Inside this, I have written the logic. Let me actually show you the characters before returning it. Let me print it and show you like what will be the output of it. So print, then chars. So let me run this and show you. Show you the random characters. Okay, so by executing this particular program before calling it in the function. So let me call this function. So I'll say get random lowercase letter. Okay, so I just called this function, and let us see what it will give you. So you can see on the screen that in the resultant screen that it has generated 100 random letters. So you can see that they are not in sequence. So you got X, and then you got R and Y and F and all that. So this is how you will be getting. Okay, so this is what you need to do in this particular module, which is called as random character, which require this thing. I just have already shown you. This is just a process of debugging. So I just have written that. I'll be returning this particular list to the calling function. So I'll say return chars. Okay, fine. This is now over. Now coming. So this is test.py, and now what I have to do is I have to import this particular module into this test.py. I have imported this random character. Importing the random character. So now what I need to do is I need to call the function which is there in this random character. What is the name of the function? The name of the function is get random lowercase. So this is the name of the function. So I'll be using the name of the function. So before the name of the function, I need to give the module name. So what is the module name? So the module name is random character dot the name of the method. So this random character module is returning a list for me. So this chars is a list of characters. So to catch that, I'll be using a list, and the name of the list will be chars over here. Okay. So chars is equal to random character dot get random lowercase letter. So are these two lines clear to my class? Are these two lines clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now I'll just print the characters and show it to you inside this particular test.py. So I said print.chars so that you will be knowing like what are the characters. And now we'll start writing our logic. To write our logic, I already told you that we need a list, and the name of the list will be counts. Okay, so counts is equal to empty list. We'll process this chars and take each and every letter, count the number of occurrences and put it in the counts. But the problem here is like we got a random list of characters. Okay, but according to the problem statement, they asked us to give the counts in sequence like A, B, C and all that. So that is the task for us here, because the list is in random, but the output should be in sequence like A. For A, how many times A have occurred in the random list or not. So that is a problem. So for that, I am taking a list which is called as counts. Counts is equal to this one. So I'll be just needing it. So I just have put it there. I need a function which is count x. This count x is actually a function which will individually take a character and count the number of occurrences of the character. Say for example, I'm asking it to count the number of occurrences of A. It will count the number of occurrences of A in this particular list, which is chars. Okay, right. So for that, I need to pass chars into it. So it has to count the number of occurrences in chars, right? Say for example, just look into the output box over here. In the output box, you have got these characters, right? So I have X, R, Y. Are you able to see this, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, what your program has to do is, say for example, I am giving X and I want to find out how many times X have occurred in the random list. That is a point. So here, to count the number of occurrences, I need to pass the entire chars as well as the character that I want to count. Say for example, I want to count A. So that A I'm passing into X. Okay, so that's what I'm doing over here. And inside this particular function, I'm taking one variable which is count is equal to 0, because this count will actually keep the count of the number of characters. So here I'm having 3 counts. Okay, first one is counts, which will actually is a list which will be having count of all the 26 letters. This count x is a function, and this count is a local variable which will keep a count of how many times a particular alphabet letter in the alphabet have occurred in this random list. Okay, right. So now I have to turn in a loop. So for I in the range, right? So here the range is chars list. So I'm giving the chars list, and then I'm saying if I is equal to, so if I is equal to X, then what I need to do is I need to increment the count. Count is equal to count plus 1. Okay, so this is what I'm doing over here. And finally, I'll be returning count. Okay, so return count. If anybody did not understand this method, you please stop me and tell me that where you did not understand. It's very important that you understand this method. Anybody? You can ask me your questions. పర్వాలేదు, చిన్న డౌట్ అని అనుకోకండి అమ్మా. యు ఆస్క్ మీ, ఐల్ టెల్ యూ. Please do not hesitate to ask me. Is it clear, or do you want me to proceed further, or do you got stuck up somewhere? You can ask me. Okay, mute. Somebody wants to speak, or it's just a చెప్పాలి. అర్థమైందా? What will happen in this method? Tell me. ఈ మెథడ్ లో ఏమవుతుంది?
It counts the occurrence of each letter.
It counts the occurrence of each letter. What you are passing into this function? So you're passing two things, right? The first one is chars and the next one is the letter that you want to count. Okay, so the letter that you want to count. Say for example, you want to count R, so that R comes into this particular X. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. And this function will return the count for us. So there is something we need to do, because the letters inside these chars are in random order, but we just want the letters in sequence, right? So from starting from A. To do that, what you have to do is, this is the logic that I adopted to. You can also change your logic accordingly. Okay, so if you have another algorithm, you can implement it. So నేనేమనుకున్నానంటే, సో నాకు సీక్వెన్స్ లో కావాలి కాబట్టి the lowercase letters in the ASCII data set will start from 97. Okay, so what I did is I have taken from the first A to the Z. So it starts from 97 and ends at 123. So I just have adopted that thing, and 97 is a numerical number. But here X need to be, because I have compared I with X. So here I is the character which is taken from chars list, and X is also a character. So I need to convert this 97 into the character. So what I did is I have called this count X function with the two arguments. The first one is chars, of course, and the second one is like I cannot simply write I, because I is 97. So I cannot compare integer with a string over here. So what I need to do is I need to convert it into character. So you do have a method which is called a CHR. The CHR method will convert the like 97 is passed into, it takes an integer value and gives an associated ASCII character of that. So char of 97 will give me the first letter A, because according to the problem statement, you need to take in the you need to give the list in terms of alphabetical order, lexical order, like A, how many A's are there, how many B's are there. So that's why we are taking it from the first letter. So it goes from 97, 98 and so on. So first 97 is given over here. So A is passed into this function. So now a chars is there and X will be taking the letter A, and then now we are initializing this count to 0, and then this loop is iterated, and each and every character is compared whether it is A or not. So whenever there is an A, this count will starts incrementing, and if this is not matched, the count will not increment. It goes for the next element in the chars. So this is actually what I have adopted. And after getting the count, you need to put it in this particular counts list. So for that, we are using the append method. So counts dot append. Okay, so counts dot append, and then I'm calling this function. Okay, so this function will return the count for me, and that count will go as the first. For A, how many letters are there, that count will go over here. Okay, so if it is 0, 0 will go here, meaning that there is no A inside this particular list. That's it. So this is the program. This is the entire case study. Since I have solved it, you might feel it that the program is very small, but creating the logic and writing the algorithm is the key point over here. Okay, so it will take quite a time to actually think of how to solve this particular problem and all that. So this is what I have adopted, and finally print the count. Okay, so I'm saying count, and then whatever you want, you can list out over here, like the count of each character in the random char set and all that, or else you can simply say counts, which will give the count of characters. So I hope both the programs are clear. So this is the first program. So inside the first program, the name of the program is randomcharacter.py. So I have taken two modules because I need them. So the first one is string and the second one is random. I require the string module to actually get the letters, and I can also say lowercase. Okay, so ASCII string dot lowercase, which will actually give me the lowercase letters directly. Or else you can also use ASCII underscore letters. ASCII underscore letters will give you all the letters which are like lowercase a to z and also uppercase a to z. But among all the letters, I do want all the lowercase letters, so I just using the lower method which is there in the string module. So once I do this, all the lowercase letters in sequence. So what we will be having is, we will be having A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J in sequence. All the letters in sequence. So this will be the output of V. Okay. So we will be having all this. But now we don't want the letters, only 26 letters are there, but we want 100 letters to be generated from these 26 letters. Okay, to do that, we are turning a loop, and this is the list that we are taking, which is CAS. And then I'm turning the loop 100 times to pick one letter in random from V. So what it will do is, it will pick one letter from all these 26 letters. So it has taken X first. Okay, so this choice is the one which will pick one among this V. So it has taken X, and in the next iteration, it has taken R from the list. And then this will be different for different iterations. And so for me to execute, I got an output like this, but I'll run it once again and show you. You won't be getting X as the first letter. So let me run that and show you. So this is your random character. So inside the random character, you're just generating random 100 random lowercase letters. You have put them in CAS, and you're returning this. Okay, fine. Now in the test.py, what I did is, I have imported this random character, and then I have called the method which is there in random character, which is get random lowercase letter. So that's a function, which is name of the function, which is written, which I have written in random character. So now CAS will be including all this thing. Okay, so XR, and it will be different for different iterations. And then I have taken counts, which will be a list which will be holding the count of each and every letter in sequence, okay, in alphabetical order. So it will be holding 26 elements in it. Each and every letter will show the number of occurrences of that letter. And in the next, I have written one function over here, which is count X. I can also do it in the for loop, but I don't want to make it make the codes congested. So I have written it in a function over here. So this count X function will take two arguments. The first one is the CAS, random letters which are given in CAS, and X will be taking each and every letter that is like CHRI. So first it will take 97, CHR 97 is A. So first A is passed, and the occurrences of A is iterated through all these 100 elements, and the count keeps incrementing if there is a match. If there is no match, then it goes to the next element, and the checking happens. Once the list is exhausted, the total count is returned to the calling to this particular for loop. Okay, so the count comes over here, and this count is appended to the counts list. Okay, so we're using the append method, which will actually add the elements at the end of the list. Okay, so we are using that. So we are not inserting in the middle or somewhere in the random, because we need an output which will have the count in sequence of the alphabetical letters. So that's it with the program. So let us now execute this program and see. So the program that I need to execute is test.py. So I'm executing this test.py. So I hope you can see the output, everyone. So can you see the output, Ma? I already told you that the characters will be different for different iterations. In the previous case, when I have iterated, you got X as the first letter, right? Now it is K as the first letter. Did you observe that or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so these are the 100 characters that you have got. And So you can see all the 100 characters are like this, and each and every occurrence of the letters are counted over here. So 9 represents that A's. Okay, so the number of A's in this particular cars is 9. Okay, so the first A is here, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then so on. So you can take a count, 3, and then 4, 5. Okay, 6. Okay, and like this. Okay, 7, 8, and then finally a 9. So have you counted it or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the number of occurrences of A's are 9. Okay, so what is 2 over here? 2 is the number of occurrences of B, 1 is the number of occurrences of C, and so on. So this output will vary from iterations to iterations. So if I run it, I have run it before and also I have run it now. Previously I got a different answer and now I'm getting a different answer because of this choice. This choice will pick random, means that we don't know what it will pick. Okay, so what letters it will pick. But I have this 9 is correct because what I did is I have started iterating the loop from the first character A. Okay, so this is what is the output. So I hope. So now let us move on to the module 3. The module, and inside the module, like you will be writing the prime function and you will be importing that in the other program, and then you will be printing the first 100 prime numbers. Okay, so this is the program. So I'll just change this module. See, I'm having 2 programs. The first one is test.py and the other program will be prime. Okay, so I am just renaming this file. So this file will be prime.py. I want all of you to see to this very carefully because this is what you need to do it in the examination. So I'm having 2 programs over here. The first one is, what are the 2 programs, everyone? What are the 2 programs? The first program is prime.py and the second program is test.py. So what I'm doing in prime.py is, so I'll be logic for the prime number, writing one function which is prime. Okay, the name of the function is prime, and this is prime number will be taking an element which is n, and so we need to find out whether this n is prime or not. Okay, so that's the only challenge inside this particular module. Okay, right, you just need to write a function which is prime function, and this is prime function will be taking an element which is n, and you need to check on whether this n is prime or not. So 1 is not a prime number. So what I'll say, if n is equal to 1, so my job is very easy for me. So I'll just say return false, because you can expect user giving negative numbers, and also I mean, you can also make that a point. Okay, so if the user is giving a negative number, because you cannot stop it, but here the point is I didn't give this less than or equal to in my code, because I actually turned the loop from 1 to 100. So I am forcing my program to execute for 1 to 100 numbers. So that's the reason why I didn't focus on the negative numbers. But if you are checking a number, then you have to make sure that the user can give whatever he wants to. He can give a negative number, he can give a positive number, he can even give a 0. So you need to handle it in such a manner. Okay, so the reading and understanding the problem statement is very important. I'm saying if n is equal to 1, so I'll say return false. Then after that, okay, well, okay, so then again I'm writing an elif over here. So I say if n is equal to 2, so this is the only even prime number, so obviously I need to return true. So I'm saying return true. Okay, and if it is not 1, if it is not 2, then you need to do certain calculations. So what exactly you need to do? Okay, so for the B section students, it will be a revision for you. For the A section students, I just want to give you the logic of what is a prime number and all that before proceeding with the logic with my algorithm. So I'm using the naive technique over here to find the whether a given number is prime or not. So prime numbers are the numbers which do not have a divisor from 2 till n minus 1. Okay, so say, let me make you understand this concept better. So say for example 8, I want to check whether 8 is prime number or not. So what I'll do, I'll start seeing whether 1 is dividing it or not, so is a factor or not, and then I'll say 2, and then I'll say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, so these are all the numbers I need to check whether anything is dividing 8 or not properly. Okay, so is a proper divisor or not. So if I get any factors, okay, so say for example 2 is dividing, then what I'll do is I'll say that it is not a prime number. I'll not get through the rest of the part, because it will be a waste of time. Here itself I came to know that it is not a prime number, so I'll not iterate the loop for the rest of the things. So for that I'll be using the jump statements like break and all that, so which will bring me out of the loop when certain condition is true. So I'll be using the concept over here, and to iterate through all this I'll be using a loop concept. Okay, so what are all the constructs I want, I'm actually deciding here, and how much I need to iterate. Okay, so loops do have the initialization and the condition check and the increment and decrement. So here what I'm doing is I'll start, if I say I is the looping variable, so I will start from 2, and then 2 is less than n minus 1, or n I'll say, which will actually be like it is n minus 1, and then I'm iterating. Okay, so which is like I'll say I. Okay, so I is less than n, and then I'll increment I. Okay, so I plus plus. This is what I'll generally do in the for loop. So I'll be taking 2, and then I'll iterate till n minus 1, and then I plus plus. Why I'm not iterating till n is because any number, even if you take it a prime number, okay, so for example there is a prime number 7. Okay, so 7 is having only 2 divisors, one is 1 and the other one is 7. So every number, be it a prime number or non-prime number, is divisible by 1 and itself. But the exception with the prime number is that it is divisible by 1 and itself only. That is a criteria. So you needn't check for 1 and itself. You need to check through the other numbers from 2 till n minus 1. That's actually the logic I am adopting to. But this is a very naive method, or the basic method will you can also take the square root of it and iterate through half of it. That also can be adopted, but as of now we'll just look into this particular logic of it. So I hope you understood what I'm doing here. Whenever I find a factor or a number which is dividing, is a proper divisor of a number, then I'm coming out of the loop and say that it is not a prime number. So with this basic understanding, now let me come to the else part. So I say I am taking I as the looping variable. So I'm saying for I in range, here as I told you, I'm iterating from 2 to n minus 1. So you know like how range works. So this is the beginning of the range and this is the end of the range. So n minus 1, it iterates from 2 till n minus 1. Okay, so that's why I have given n over here. So then I am checking for factors. So for that I am saying at n, right? So this is what is the number, and I need to check it with I. So I is initially 2. So I'll be checking with 2 initially. So if it is equal to, modulus will give me the remainder. If the remainder is 0, then it is a proper divisor. So then it means that it is having some factors and it's not a prime number. So n mod I I'm doing. So I will be initially 2, and if 2 divides it, then it means that it's not a prime number. So I'll just say false, and there is no point in proceeding further also. So I can simply say a break over here. Okay, so return false, which will actually return from this particular function without actually turning further loop. Okay, so if you're working in the without functions, then you need to give a break. So I don't require to give a break over here because I'm working in functions, and return is also a jump statement which will work like a break over here. Okay, so that's what I have done. And then so if it is iterating from 2 till n minus 1, but still no factors are found, meaning that this is from 2, 3, 4 and so on, it is not giving me a reminder 0, then it means that it is a prime number. So for that, so it's not having any factors, it's a prime number, so I'll be returning true over here. Okay, so that's a very simple logic I have adopted to, and this is that's it in the prime module. Now coming back to the test module. So here in the test module, I need to import it. So what is the name of the module? The name of the module is prime. So I'll be just simply saying that import prime. So then I'll be writing a print statement to actually tell what I'm doing. So I'm printing the first print prime numbers. Okay, so print prime numbers in the range 1 to 100. Okay, so that's it. Well, okay, so this is what I have written here. Then I'm turning a loop. So what I'll be turning a loop for? So I need to write from 1 to, so for I, so for I in range, okay, so what's the range? So I said 1 to 100, right? So anyway, you can also put 1 to 101 and all that is good. Okay, so you can put then. Anyway, we know that 1 is not a prime number, so I just turned it from 2 to 101. Okay, right. So if you're making it that way, you can also skip this one over here. Okay. So if now I am calling the function with the module name. So the module name is prime. So prime dot is prime, and I'll be passing I into it. So it will check whether it's prime or not, and then will return true or false. So as you can make an observation that this function is returning only true or false. Okay, so it's not returning anything other than that. So this if this function is returning true, then if becomes true, meaning that it is a prime number. So I'll say print. So I'm returning. I'm printing so many numbers. So I'll just print I directly. So I'll not print if it is false. Okay, so there is no point because I just want the prime numbers on the screen. I don't want the non-prime numbers on the screen. Okay, so that's it. A very simple program. So let us execute this and see. Okay, so I'm executing this. So you can see here in the output screen, you can very well clearly see that print prime numbers in range 1 to 100. And what are the prime numbers? These are the prime numbers in the range 1 to 100. So I have created a module which is prime.py and imported that in the test.py. That's it.